Yeah, so when I was growing up, my dad do you guys know what Wonder Ball candy is?
Yeah, do you
It
know
had
what
like
that
a little toy inside of it. My dad saved a package of those because he thought they'd be worth money one day.
And then
That's
a few
good.
years ago,
I actually like that idea of like using like
do something weird.
completely.
A few years ago when
But
we
it's
when we
also-
moved them out, he still had it. All right, welcome to Checker Podski. We're doing it. We're doing it right now.
Doing the podcast.
Doing the
It's
podcast.
happening.
We're doing it. Stanley's going to be a good boy.
Best
Yes.
behavior.
Best
It's
behavior.
A lot of opinions today.
Very calm dog. I think you saw a bug.
Yeah, probably.
Anything you want to talk about up top?
One thing I thought it's controversial
Okay.
is, some people are like, I guess like their boundary would be that you're on time or something like that.
Yes.
And as Chekarowskis, our kind of family phrase, if we had one, would be, if we're not late, we're not coming.
Yep.
And
This is true.
I'm wondering if there's a way to have a boundary to be like, you have to respect that I show up late. Like, I don't think it's fair just to be like, well, you have to be on time. I understand that it's like it's a waste of time, but I'm just like throwing out the idea that is there a world where someone that's late can be like, respect that I'm late.
I think the best, I feel like with me, people.
I mean, within reason.
Within
There has to be
reason.
some reason, obviously. But like, this is hypothetical because I'm like, I think the people that are like, you have to be on time are always going to win.
They are always going to win because
Which is
there's like
kind
a
of annoying.
morality to being like, you're strict and you're on time and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. We're all trained to be in the military, apparently. It's just like, I feel like it's excessive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like there should be, I know some people where if they know a friend is late, they'll like lie to them.
Yeah.
I think that's a good
helpful
move.
for me.
That is
That's
really
worked
helpful
for
to
me. Yeah.
I think lying to my face is probably the best,
Like,
probably a good
oh,
move.
it starts at 7. You're like, okay, I'm going to get there at 6:30, and then I get there at 7.
Or also tell me how strict the start time is. 'Cause
Yeah,
some things are like
emphasize
they
the
start
strict
at
start
7,
time.
but you can come
Yeah.
whenever.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, comics were like chronically late to everything. Like a show is supposed to start at 8, it won't.
Yep.
Unless that's not true. Sometimes with the clubs, they'll start really strictly on time. But yeah,
And it just makes me think of things where it's like other people's like boundaries get to trump other people's because of it being like
the moral thing.
I don't know. Is it moral to be on time? I'm not sure.
I think so. I think there's like something. I think there's something to it where they're like, you're a good person if you're not a good person, but like what's expected. The same thing with like an early riser.
Yeah, people really celebrate and applaud an early person.
They love, wow, you got up that early. Whereas like, well,
yeah, but then at the same time, you got up that early. You worked that late.
yeah,
They don't want people sleeping.
they just don't want some people sleeping.
Nobody's supposed to sleep out
Nobody's
here.
supposed to sleep, and nobody's supposed to be late to anything.
Not supposed to be late. Always supposed to be on time.
I do think that people take it too personally.
Yes, that maybe that's it. Where it's like you are late because you hate me. Like
Yeah,
no,
you're disrespecting my time.
definitely not.
It's not that deep. Some people are just late.
Okay, anytime somebody's like really strict about you disrespected me, I think there's problems that they need to work through. Like anyone that's ever been like, you're disrespecting me, I'm like, you got to work through that. Like I've never met anyone that's like, they never say it like gently. They're never like, oh, that was disrespectful. They're like, that was disrespectful. They're like fuming and like foaming at the mouth. And you're like, all right.
Yeah, it's always
like it's really not that deep. Like
No.
I wasn't like, let me do this on purpose to you. I have a hard time like with time
yes.
and like
And time
realizing
blindness,
how
yeah.
long. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's like, because I'm like, I'll be getting ready for work. If I get up an hour and a half early, I feel like I leave the house, I swear, at the same time every time.
Yep.
I could give myself
Yep.
4 hours in the morning and somehow it still end up leaving about at the same time.
Yeah.
Like unless I have
It's
a
an
strict
ADHD
meeting where
thing,
I
yeah.
have to be there, that I'm like hyper vigilant about the time. But like,
And then
somehow
I get nothing
dilly-dally.
done
Somehow
before I
dilly-dally.
can do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I have to have something at 2:00, so the whole day is wiped for the 2:00 meeting. Because, or if I have to get up early, especially for like plane trips or whatever, I won't sleep at all because I have like
Yeah.
an anxiety about being late, not being on time, and that kind of like gets me in my head a lot.
Oh, so it's not the waking up thing. It's mostly just what if
I'm afraid I won't wake up. I'm afraid that I won't be there. And so, but I think like if I had that energy all the time to everything, that would be exhausting, frankly.
to always be on time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we need.
I don't think it's as disrespectful as people make it. Now everyone's gonna get mad about this because they're gonna be like, it is disrespectful.
Yeah, but then at the
me.
same time, there's those friends, and we won't not name them, that are like able to slide by, cruise on in 2 hours late. Everyone's like, yay, they're here. We love them.
They're a doodle.
They're a doodle. A doodles
from
that reality show.
You watch this reality show about
it's like Gotta Get Out or something like that.
Yeah, nobody's probably watching this.
From the Hills, Omarosa. It's a stupid reality show where these people try to escape.
But there's this guy
houses.
Steve in it, and he tries to steal the money. Also, the point of the whole show is to steal the money, and he tries to steal the money, and they're like, Steve's a sack of shit. And then
everyone hates him.
And then Doodles does it, the exact same thing, and they're like, Doodles.
Well, he does come out after he tries to steal the money. He's like, and I'm like, they're like, we love you. We love that you like disrespect us. Like, it's fun. And then the other guy's like, well, isn't this the part of the show? Like,
and then everyone's like, I hate Steve. I'll never work with him.
And they all like, he disrespected us and trust and stuff. It's like, okay, you can't pick and choose. So like, if your boundary,
if you're a hard ass,
if you're a hard ass for one person, but you're not for another, then your boundary is fucking stupid and it's not real. And why should I respect it at all? And if anything, you've disrespected me.
Yeah, and that's ableism.
Yeah. Now you've disrespected me,
and I have a
by choosing people that you that you
like. Well,
have
of
boundaries
course,
with.
So and so can't do better.
They can't. We love them. They're just
but that's
like that.
Part of
Why
their
can't
charm.
I just be like that? Why can't I have the charm? No charm.
No charm.
Just don't be.
No charisma at all.
Yeah.
Somebody said that they were like, they asked a question. They're like, oh, if you could, you can have like one of these traits, but then you'll be bad at all the other ones. And one was like intelligence, beauty, like something, and then charisma. And everybody chose charisma because they're like, with charisma, you don't need all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Which is true. Because I was like, if you're charming, if you can charm people, you could be the laziest, grossest.
Look how many manipulators use
exactly.
charm.
They're like, I mean, we see the, it's just like, man, you know what it is? I look at my chart and I don't think I've been charming a day in my life.
Haven't been charming?
No.
Oh.
I don't think people like see me and they're like,
that's a pickle.
I'm going to do something for her. No. Yeah. I'm not getting away with that.
Oh yeah. Like if a good example would be like getting pulled over by the cops. Like, our little sister is very like, I wouldn't say charming, but she has the beauty kind of thing down. She doesn't necessarily play like
it could just be like a neurodivergent.
She doesn't even play like innocent either or anything. She's just, I think she has like the beauty kind of standards in place, but that's it. That's all I think it is. And it's like I get pulled over, like, and they're just like,
here's your ticket. Yeah, they hate me.
Let's get you in cuffs.
I've never gotten out of a ticket in my life.
Never that extreme. You've never got a ticket?
I've never gotten out of a ticket.
Oh, out of a ticket. I thought you never got a ticket. I was like, how did you?
I think maybe once in Chicago when it was a tail light.
Same.
Because I didn't know it was out. Like I was like honestly like surprised by it. And then, but I've gotten tickets for getting lost. I've gotten tickets for like when I was doing 82 and a 70 after like visiting our dying aunt, and the guy was like, here's your ticket. And I was just like, and he asked too, like, what were you doing in Ann Arbor? You're from Chicago. And I was like,
the hell
I was visiting a hospice patient.
Little far from Chicago, isn't it?
A little far from Chicago. Right? Just give me the ticket if you're going to
give Michigan plates.
Yeah, exactly. I still have Michigan plates. Exactly. Yeah. I was like, just give me the ticket if you're going to hate me.
But I'm sure there's other like boundary type things. I'd be curious. Like, I'd have to think of more, or if anybody else had things where it's like the idea that it's like this kind of boundary always trumps, when I'm like, maybe how would you ask for something where you like, I need flexibility in that. Like, I need you to be able to give me flexibility. And I don't think I think it's unfair to be like, well, my thing's rigid, so you have to adhere to my rigidness. It's like, you should have to also adhere to some flexibility sometimes.
Agreed.
It's not fair to like always be like, I win because I'm rigid.
Right.
And that's my way of being. Because I'm like, that sucks.
Right. Like,
and again, does it apply to everybody? Because it doesn't. Is the case
doesn't.
With these people that are super rigid.
Because there's certain people.
Same thing with like when there was like everyone was wearing masks and stuff. It's like, oh, super rigid with these people, and then these other people not so much. Like maybe someone they're dating or something. You're like, interesting. Just interesting.
No, it's fine. I just
not manipulative or abusive or gaslighting at all.
Yeah, I just feel like you're right that there's this thing of like, we always kind of default to whoever is more controlling in our society most of the time. So like if it's like, oh, time. And also like another thing too, not for nothing, but I went to school and for college, every class started at 10 minutes after.
Interesting.
So I kind of in my head was
They trained her.
they trained
And this
me.
is a pretty fine
University of Michigan
Yeah.
is it's their fault, and it was like Michigan time.
Yep.
So you knew like, oh, the class is at 4. It starts at 4:10,
Yep.
which I think is a good way to do it. Say it starts at 4.
Yeah.
Like, don't be hours on hours late, but don't be rude about it.
Yeah. Like, I understand having some, obviously, a schedule of sorts, but like, just saying. I'm just saying.
I mean, the biggest problem I've had with work is
Yeah.
being late. Like when I've had jobs where it was like a very strict
I mean, it's a
time
problem
thing.
I still have right now.
Yeah, I would come in.
But I'll like work late and I won't like stop working. Like, I don't even barely take like a break.
Yep.
And no,
When I'm there-
no acknowledgement of the not
Yes.
taking a break, but the being on time seems to be.
Like, all right, Johnny was here on time, but he doesn't get anything done.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny's like, yeah, he gets here on
Congratulations.
time and then he just sits here.
And then he
Sweet.
just sits here. But I'm doing like twice the work,
Yeah.
and I get here 10 minutes after because of my
Yeah.
illness.
Illness? I don't know what it is. Something.
Stan.
Also, just that I think it's like getting from one place to the other is like the thing. Like, even the other day I took Stanley to the park and it was like, it's hard to like get out of the house. And then once I get out, I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
But it's like that transition from one space to the next space.
That's like showering
Like
for me.
getting to the
Yeah.
other space is the challenge.
Is the challenge, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
They
the-
say that like neurodivergent people have a hard time with transitions. Like that's why like showering can be hard because it's like I'm so used to being dry, and then when you're in the shower, you're like, well, now I'm wet forever. This is my life. I live
Yeah.
in the shower,
Yeah, I
and
see.
then you don't want to get out of the shower, and you're like, the transition of different things is harder to do. It's not that bad when you're doing it. Like once
No,
you've done it, it's
once-
not that bad.
No,
but
it's
like
obviously
for some
fine.
odd reason,
and it keeps happening, so you have to keep
Yeah.
doing it. You have to keep leaving the house.
yeah, you have to be.
Well, I guess
but
you don't.
let
but
people be a little late.
let
What's it
people
gonna?
be late?
You know.
I would just say question your boundaries. Are you applying it to everybody, or are you just applying it to like certain people?
And
that
it
you
depends
like
on the
better
thing.
or
Like
hate
if
more?
you're like if you're a surgeon, obviously please don't be late.
Yeah.
Or you're a certain.
Well, that's the thing is like obviously there's certain jobs and things like that where it's like this is life or death, and then when you were pretending that like certain events or whatever are life and death, it's like it's not.
No,
Let's not.
It's not.
Let's not do this. We already have to show up every single day or do all these other things. Everything in our life is so regimented that it's like, can we?
and like with a
just-
party, it especially even if there's like something where like we're all gonna sing happy birthday at 7:00. I bet you there's gonna be other people that are more late than me,
yeah,
and we're gonna have to wait for
and
them.
we're gonna be so excited about those people.
And we're gonna be so
9
excited when
hours
they
late.
come out when they
Yeah.
grace us with their presence.
Which personally, I don't have any. I really don't have any problem with those people. 'Cause
Right.
I'm like I would love that freedom.
I would love
they
that
get.
freedom to be like, I'm loosey goosey Caitlin, and they're like, no, you know better, Caitlin.
You know better, Caitlin. Oh, here comes Lucy Goosey, Sally. We love her.
We love her. She's
Life
crazy.
of the party.
She's so
Doesn't even bring anything to
doesn't bring
contribute.
anything. Yeah.
Like, it actually costs you money.
yeah. They're like, oh, she's so funny though.
I mean, I like those people, but I'm like, why am I not able to have that?
Yeah, it
I
is
think because
weird.
like 10 minutes late versus 2 hours is like the difference. Like, well, you could have been here 10 minutes early
Yeah.
versus like 2 hours late is like, yeah, they're here. That's
yeah, they're
great.
here exactly.
Well, fine. I'm gonna start showing up 2 hours late.
Fine, she's
It's
gonna show
fine.
up 2 hours late. Deal with it. Yeah, I think also like I talked to my therapist about this though, but I'm like, do I have a hard time letting things go? Like especially things that are like unfair between people. Like I'm like people being treated differently really bothers me for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know why. I think it's like a sticking point.
Oh, that thing with the show was like, it's painful to watch.
It's
to me.
painful
I'm
to
like,
watch,
they think it's like silly and cute, and I'm like, this
It's
is
not
actually
silly
like
for
painful
cute.
to see him being
yeah,
mistreated. It's like one thing if they're universally we're like, oh, anyone that tried, I know it's a reality show and I know it's stupid, but anyone that tries to do this thing where they steal the money is now ostracized from that group. But when you ostracize someone from the community that you're like, you don't do it to the other person, it seems unfair. It's so
It seems
unfair.
so-
It like
completely
seems
unfair.
so wrong to me.
even small things like
And
somebody,
especially when
yeah.
somebody, it's like, oh, we're all capable as a group to ostracize somebody, but then they don't do it for the right things.
Yeah, and they do it for like the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I just put here that I hate a corporate fun fact.
A corporate fun fact.
I think this has to do with when you go around the table at like at
Oh, yeah.
companies and like give a fun fact.
Or just any like icebreaker type thing.
It really makes
Yeah.
me anxious. I don't know if it's because I don't have anything interesting to say or that my life is so dull, but it just makes me so anxious because I don't know.
How fun do you go with a fun fact?
How
You know what
fun
I'm
do you
saying?
go with
How
a fun
do you go?
fact? You know?
There's stuff that I have that I'm like, it just feels like I don't want that attention. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, have a dog or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
because then you're like, oh, if you say something extreme, that's like I didn't, but
trauma.
Trauma. Yeah, I grew up like this, and like
And everyone's
that's
like,
when I
that's
realized
not a fun fact.
Yeah,
I'm like, but it's different.
it is different. Yeah,
My dad thought Wonder Balls were a money investment.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like super niche. Yeah. So when I was growing up, my dad do you guys know what Wonder Ball candy is?
Yeah. Do you know
It had like
that
a little toy inside of it. My dad saved a package of those because he thought they'd be worth money one day.
And then
That's
a few
good.
years
I
ago,
actually like that idea of like using like
do something weird.
completely.
A few years ago when we moved them out, he still had it.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
I think
and then there was one that was open because we made
chocolate.
our baby sister
Somebody wanted
open
chocolate.
it. Yeah,
Sean wanted to see what the
yeah.
toy was or something.
Yeah, and so she opened it. So the value is completely gone. Also, food doesn't go up in value. Let's not get into it.
I don't really get why he latched onto that.
No idea. Honestly, if he had done any other Disney product, it probably would be worth more now. But the
I don't
food isn't going
understand
to.
why he got that. I almost think he got it and was like, we were like, oh, cool. And then he's like, no, like as a power move. This is going to be worth money. And we're like, we never.
And this would all come up in the corporate fun fact.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I think it was a power move. Anyways. And the next kid's like,
I was born in Australia. You're like, cool. Not Wonder Ball level.
Not a Wonder Ball level story, but
I guess
it works.
I think it's also you have to have better things. Like a fun fact is like so broad. It's almost like
I was watching that Millionaire show yesterday, and this guy's fun fact, because they were like, let's go around and like talk about whatever or like do some fun facts. And one guy's was like, oh, I love photography. I love taking pictures of birds. That's like kind of the perfect fun fact.
Yeah. Okay.
Or like
everyone's like something
it
kind
meand
of about
nothing.
you.
You get nothing
away.
from it. Yeah, it doesn't actually say anything about the person
like,
really.
Blip.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
And you're like, that is and then they go to the next guy, and the next guy's fun fact was he's like, one time his like soccer team or something got a police escort, or their van got a police escort because they needed to make it to a game.
Okay.
And I was like, this doesn't really...
See, that seems like very specific.
Seems very specific, but I was also like, what an interesting thing that like, that was like, he's like, and when it happened, this is the funniest part. When it happened, I was like, man, this is going to be my fun fact for the rest of my life. It was so funny.
Do you recognize when a fun fact's happening to you?
Do you recognize
be present,
the fun... Are you present in the fun facts of your life? Are you present enough to know
that, fun facts are happening all around you every day?
That you are the fun fact and you're enough.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I do kind of hate it though.
Oh, I absolutely hate it. Okay, sorry about corporate things. You might even have this written down. Was like, I hate, and I maybe I already said this on something, but I'm like, I hate signing birthday cards at offices.
Yeah,
I hate
we
it.
Found this out about.
I think
Jess
that should be banned. Yeah. I don't like doing it, and the reason I don't like doing it because I'm like, I was like thinking even like banning it for other scenarios. I'm like, okay, if somebody dies or your dog dies or something, fine, I'll sign something.
But these are people you don't know.
Yeah, well, I kind of know them enough. It doesn't matter. It's just the thing that it happens is like you find a birthday card on your desk and you're like, fuck, now I have to like, it's not signing it. It's finding the next person to give the card to.
That's what
stresses me the hell out to the point where I'm like, I just want to start throwing them in the trash.
I saw a video of it on TikTok and I was
like,
don't put
this on my desk.
And I was like shocked by it.
Not put a birthday card on my desk.
I asked you, I was like, wait, when you sign the birthday card, you have to find the next person?
Yep.
God, that's awful.
Certain sort of, it's like an office culture hell.
Yeah.
I actually am thinking about going to HR and be like, I don't know how to get to this to stop, but I need it to stop.
I'm throwing them away.
I'm going to start throwing them away. I should put a little note I should actually just put a note on my cards, like, or my desk. It's like, if you put a birthday card or card that isn't about somebody's death on my desk, I will throw it in the trash. Do not do this.
Do not do it.
I'm not even kidding. Like, I think people think, oh, you're joking. I'm like, I'm seriously not. It like angers me so much because it's like I'm in the middle of my work day and I'm like really focused, and now I have to spend 5 minutes tracking down someone that I already signed it. We already signed it.
And this isn't to say that you're anti-birthday, because I've seen you do like decorations for people on your team.
Yeah, I'm not anti-birthday.
So
anti the card.
Because the decorations are something you can.
And I'm not even anti-card within my.
You don't know when the card's
I'm
gonna
not
drop.
even anti-card within my team.
No,
because I know all the people, and it's like very quick. Like versus the whole office. Now I'm like walking around. I'll just throw on a desk
IT
and
guy
be like,
James.
Yeah.
Thanks for plugging it in. Love. Happy birthday, Jess.
Exactly.
Do you have to write something every single time?
Yeah. Yeah. And most
I'd
of
be
the
like,
time
my dad wonder balls.
exactly. Like
just did the same
there's like
story.
a confession on there. I hate signing. I was just put. I hate signing birthday cards and then I'll sign it every single time.
Yeah.
Thanks for making me do this. Bye. It's your fault.
And finding the next person.
Yeah. And finding the next person. Nobody is even reading them. They're just like, okay.
Do you have a default person that you try to go to? Like, is there like a line where you're like, oh, if I just got it, the most likely person next to get it is
No, because we're like
Nancy.
in a corner. So it's like we might even be the last people that get it. Yeah.
And then what?
I don't know.
Then the buck
Last time
stops
I
with
put
you?
it on the HR person's desk because I was like, I don't know what to freaking do with this.
Yeah. It really does interrupt
It needs to stop. I'm like looking directly at the camera.
She's like, this is a PSA.
It needs to stop.
You guys think we're joking? We're not joking.
I'm not joking at all.
Yeah, I think it would give
joking,
me
but
a
I'm
lot
kinda
of
not joking.
anxiety to do the actual signing, but to find the next person, that's what really
That's
threw
the
me.
thing. That's like, now you have a task. You have to go run an errand in your office. That's the thing. I don't want to run an errand.
And it's not keeping any
Like
kind
I
of
hardly, my
camaraderie.
whole team is really bad like this where we're like, oh, it's 3:00. We haven't eaten lunch yet because we're so like focused in our work. We're all like weirdos like that. And it's like, oh, great. Now I have to go do this thing. Like I should be going to the bathroom, not finding the next person to sign a card. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, agreed. Yeah. Like if you're going to throw like a wrench in something,
It should be like for taking care of myself. It should be like
Agreed.
for standing up and like, I don't know. It's probably a few problems in there.
yeah, but it does.
The other thing that happened this week, and this is like another corporate little tale, is somebody moved my chair and then there was a tall chair at my low table desk.
Wait, did they take your chair?
My chair is gone.
And they replaced it with another chair?
With another chair, but it was tall and doesn't fit the
That's
desk.
office drama.
It is. And then I'm like not serious about it because I'm like, I'm not that upset about it, but I'm like kind of upset about it because I'm like, okay, where's my chair? And then they're like, well, just take the one from this empty desk. The handles are all banged up and it's like the leather's all ripped up. I'm like, okay, what the frick happened to this chair? I'm like, this one's banged up. They're like, well, then take that one. I'm like, that one's banged up too. And then they're like, okay, well then get this one. And then it was like rickety and like wobbling. I'm like,
Have you seen anyone with your chair?
there's no way to know. They all look the same. So it's
Except yours. Yours are all shitty, apparently.
apparently they're all shitty. And then anyways, I was like, okay, then I thought it was this one guy that took it. And then because he was like working around the area that day and I was gone. And I'm like, okay, so it was him. And then he's like, I come back to my desk and I just have this rickety chair. It's fine, I guess. Like whatever.
Do you have to get there early so you can trade out your chair for another
Well,
chair?
I don't know. And then they're like, and then he's like, well, I found you a different chair, but I'm not the one that took it. I think it was this other guy that took the chair.
No, that sounds like bullshit. Sounds like
You
took
really?
it.
You think?
Because he's like, why? How does he know that your chair changed?
Because everyone around, like Angelica, the other teammates told him.
Oh, but he said,
he's like, everyone was
why
like,
did he find you a new chair?
they're like, so-and-so, when he came back over, they're like,
So you had no chair at one point.
no, I had a chair. It's just a rickety chair.
Okay.
And then because they were all like, oh, did you take Jess's chair? And he's like, I didn't, but I think so-and-so did, this other guy.
Okay.
And then,
Now it's a murder mystery.
yeah, well,
Now
then
none of the birthday
I went
cards are
to
getting
HR because
signed.
I was like, I never looked at her office. Suddenly she has 2 chairs in there. Did she take my chair? And then I went and asked her that. She was like, I've always had 2 chairs. I'm like, interesting, because now it's like a mystery. It's definitely a crime scene of
Wow.
sorts. I still don't know where it went.
First they took your Mondays, and now they're taking
I
your
know.
chair.
Now they're taking the chair. So,
This is how people
and
get
then I found
violent.
out that guy that I thought took the chair, which supposedly he didn't. Supposedly he's cleared his name.
Okay.
That like my team was like, oh yeah, he's like afraid of you, and I'm like, well, he should be.
Not afraid enough to not take my chair.
Not afraid enough to not take the chair.
Or not tell me who actually did it.
Yeah, you should be solving this mystery for me, for your own safety.
And it's
Otherwise-
good
Yeah.
to elicit fear.
Yes.
Good.
That actually keeps coming up in our office. Like, my boss, she seems to have like people keep being like, "You're intimidating," and then they say that about me too, and I'm like,
It's just women.
It is. Like, I'm like, at least they're not saying bitch anymore. But
Yeah.
like, we've moved out of that. But
Moved
like,
out of that.
now it's like you're intimidating. Like, okay, no, she's not. Trust me, she's not.
No.
Like, she's very stern in what she wants, but I'm like, intimidating.
Sometimes
Like,
people put
it's
their
just
own
because
feelings
she
on
doesn't
stuff.
talk like soft or something. Like, I think there's like an expectation that women are like always like, okay, so I think this is like, guys, this is what we should do. And she's like, this is what I think we should do. And then she's very like stern and like,
If she was a
direct.
dude, it wouldn't even be. It
I
wouldn't
know,
even
that's what I
clock.
was thinking.
Yeah.
That's
It
what I was
wouldn't even be
thinking too. I'm
clocked.
like, so she's like, she tries to like manage how she comes off. And I'm like, that's such a fucking waste of time. to me.
I mean, I do. I mean, there's definitely things like on
Also,
in
they
stand-up
hired
where,
her because of what she can do, not because she can like tiptoe around conversations and deliver them in a delicate, gentle way.
Like
and again, she's not like mean.
No,
it's just I think she's direct and also challenges what currently is. So I think that's what they don't like is like, well,
but
now
if it
we
was
have
a
to,
dude, they'd just be like, yeah, he just tells us how. If
tells it
anything,
how
they
it
were a
is,
dude.
yeah.
If it was a dude, they would be like, wow, he's really nice.
Yeah, they're like, that guy's super nice.
That's super sweet guy.
Yeah, and they'd probably
Except
be
for
like,
all
he's
the
super
chairs
silly
he's
all the
stealing.
time and
Yeah,
loves
he's super-
dogs because
He's
that's
like doodles.
yeah, exactly.
God, these freaking doodles.
Doodles of the world.
The doodles of the world
Now
are
everyone's,
getting
like,
away with murder,
Googling what
and
a
the
doodle
doodles
is.
are also getting away with murder too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Anyway, that's enough office drama.
no, I like hearing about it. I don't ever think I've heard anybody on like calls or something seem mean, or so it's just interesting that people are like, "Oh, you seem stern." I'm like,
well, they're not. They don't say it to your face. I don't know how Angelica or how my boss finds this out, but it's like always like something where it's like, "Oh, I was told I was intimidating." I'm like, who is having this opinion? I really don't know.
yeah.
It's like an overall feedback that keeps coming back to her.
Have you guys shared fun facts? That might break the ice.
Yeah, that's true. We should try to
start making some
fun
fun
fact.
facted.
Say
I
the
don't know
worst
how to.
trauma of your life.
Nothing. Comics aren't. They don't have any of the. Some of them maybe a little bit, but they don't really have like the wherewithal or the tact to not say what they're thinking. So, it never really comes up as much. Not that it doesn't happen, but I feel like there's no the way even like I saw a TikTok video where this woman is asking her husband who's never worked in corporations these like
Oh yeah, I saw that.
phrases,
Yeah.
and I'm like, God, some of these I have no idea what they were gonna say, because I haven't heard them before.
Like circle back.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But like those guys, some of the things.
No, but there's enough of them.
But intimidating seems like one of those corporate words where you're like you're trying to say something else. They're unapproachable or something. What you're trying to say is like a little bit.
No, I think they don't realize they're being kind of sexist. That's what
Yeah.
I think. I think they don't realize they're being sexist because I'm like, it's actually what you're trying to say is like, I need you to back off and not have an opinion, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, or do it in a way that, like, I just don't think it's a good use of time for somebody to go out of their way to like communicate in a lighter. I don't know. Sometimes it is. I'm like, if she was, I would say, but. It's probably because I'm like that too. So I'm like, well, great.
I think some people take stuff more personally when you don't like act a certain, like it happens with our mom. Like people would be like, your mom seems mean. I'm like, she's not. She's just very matter of fact. She's not trying to be rude to you. And I think some people, if you're used to being around like really lovey-dovey people.
Oh yeah, I remember,
which I love a lovey-dovey.
Yeah, I remember.
person.
I think someone I dated was like, oh, like your mom hates me. I'm like, she doesn't. Truly, she's not thinking about you.
Yeah, sorry, it's even worse.
Yeah, it's worse than
It's
that.
even worse than that.
Actually, that is kind of
you.
a bad thing. I'm like, she doesn't dislike you. She's just not thinking about you. Because I'm like, there's
true
definitely
with
people
mom.
you date that like our mom like will be like making silly banter with and jokes with because she's like does like the person.
That makes sense because I feel like the men I've dated, they're like, listen, better to polarize than neutralize. Am I right? Let's be toxic as hell. Like they're like, I'm gonna make her feel one way about me.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
They're
bad.
like, oh, not neutral. Yeah, exactly, not neutral.
I don't think there's ever been. Mom doesn't really do that thing where like I've seen some moms do where they like they really fall
Stanley.
for the boyfriend, or they're like, oh my God, I love it. You know, like maybe a little bit with one of Sean's exes.
Yeah,
but
because they were both in high school.
yeah. But most of the time she's always pretty even.
But she's
keel.
also like, well, they broke up. Like she can move on. She wasn't like, I'm so attached to this person. Like she still wishes the person well, but she's not like.
She told me the other day that she's like, anyone
Really?
that's broken up with you, she's like, you hold on to that as a mom, you hold on to it. And I was like, yeah, but Jess broke up with him. And she's like, I don't care.
With who?
Alex.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No, he did. It was kind of mutual.
Kind of
though.
mutual,
Yeah,
though.
It was kind
Yeah.
of mutual. Yeah.
It was at the end, anyways. But
Yeah.
it's just so funny that she's like, still hate him.
No, but she hates him.
She hates him. Yeah,
she
she
does.
says it. Yeah, she's like, I know he asks about me. I know it's kind of jokingly, but
She's kind of joking, but she's kind of
I
not.
think it's like a mom thing. You just
Yeah.
want to be protective and make your kid never have any hurt at all. We were talking about that with like Stan being like full, worried about dogs being full of plastics, but I was like, this one eats straight plastic
Yeah.
all the time. I was talking to Josh about
Anytime like small like
Yeah.
piece of a toy, he'll ingest the whole
we were
thing.
talking about like dogs eating weird stuff, like Josh and I, and like because he thought Mila had eaten the salmon on the table, and she'd eaten something, but she'd only eaten like a small little thing, so it was fine. But I was like, oh, does she feel shame about
yeah.
it? And she did. She was
Yeah.
like, you know, like, I'm sorry, like,
I messed up,
whatever.
yeah.
I was like, Jasper, the beagle, I know, nothing. You could
Yeah.
scream at Jasper in the face and he'll be like,
Hey, babe.
anyways, back to eating this tampon.
Yeah.
I'm very busy. If you could get out of my way, that would be great.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
famously, you never try to, if Jasper's locked on to something, you're
Just
like,
let him.
just let him eat it. It could be a dead animal, could be anything. That's Jasputin.
Just gotta let
You
it go.
gotta let it go. You know, he ate not 12 dozen. He ate a dozen chocolate chip cookies a few months ago. And the boyfriend was like, oh my God, like, should we take him to the hospital? And they're like, he'll be fine. The dog is unbreakable. Something about beagles. Something about hounds, beagles. Their stomachs must
Sturdy.
be iron. Sturdy as hell. Our theme for this week, we have like we did a little themey to give us ourselves some
Try something different.
try something different.
Sure.
And we asked about childhood accidents. You want to talk about your childhood accident?
Oh, sure. I guess probably the main one I can think of is probably cutting my head open when I was like 4 or 5, probably 5.
Mm.
We had this like climber inside the house, and then I was sitting on top of it. It's something that's supposed to be outside, but I think it was like around Christmas or something. So it was inside. And so I was like sitting up like 3 feet, 4 feet high on this thing. And I was like looking over the edge of it. And it was in the office room where my dad had a computer, and I wanted to play this Mickey Mouse match card game. It was very fun, very cool.
Oh, like when you
Flip cards over, but it was digital.
Ooh.
So it's more fun because it's on a
I
computer.
absolutely know exactly what you're talking about.
It's more fun because it's on the computer. And he's like, oh yeah, in a second. Like, and then just waiting for my turn to like basically play this game, like on the computer. And then I fell asleep and I fell off and hit my head on top of the armrest that he was sitting on. So like,
whoa, I didn't know he was already sitting on the chair.
he was sitting on the chair, and then I'm like up there, and then I fall and I hit my head like here.
Whoa, I didn't realize that. I thought it was an empty, in my head I pictured an empty chair. The whole,
No,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I fell asleep, and then because I was sitting over this like basically this ladder essentially.
Yeah.
Like waiting for my turn.
Right.
Which dad is like notoriously like, Dad, are we gonna do this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. It's like 4 years.
So now you guys know where we get our lateness from.
Yeah, and like if you think it's bad 10 minutes late or an hour late, imagine
Dad.
Imagine somebody that's right there, and you're like, okay, let's go now. We're leaving the house now. And then they're like, yes, 5 more minutes. 5. That's even worse, I think. I think that's
It's worse as an adult to do that. I feel like as a kid, you're like 5 more minutes. Of course, you're going to try to.
A kid is going to do it, but like as an adult doing it, to be like, it's not that they're late. There's also somebody trying to shepherd them out.
Mm-hmm. And they're ignoring the
and
shepherd.
they're still like, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. And then they don't. Sometimes it just never happens.
Yeah.
And like the card game never happens.
It never happens.
So I went to the hospital. And then Josh had to hold like a rag on top of my head. I still have like a scar. I don't know.
Go
Probably not
Josh.
obvious.
Go Josh for
holding
that.
I still like remember what the towel looks like and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it was like orange and like yellow and whitish gray color.
It like gets locked into your brain.
And then we had the Astro van at the time, so I remember that. And I remember driving to the hospital at night, and then Mom was there.
Is that one of your first memories?
I don't know. I'm sure I saw it earlier, but then I remember the tissue paper over my face, and then they're doing stitches on it. I also remember thinking that having stitches was really cool. Because like one of my best friends as a little kid was a boy and lived across the street, and I was like, he's gonna think this is cool because I was like a tomboy.
Boys do think
I was
that's
like
cool.
a tomboy, so I thought that like
this is gonna get me some
some
cred.
some like street cred among the other children
For sure.
Was very cool to me.
And you weren't wrong, and it was cool.
And it was cool.
And she's not wrong. I don't remember the hospital visit, but when I was a kid, I was trying to show my mom how good I was at dunking under the water, and I went to jump up in the water to go back down, and I hit my chin and split it open on the pool like ledge. And I don't remember the hospital. I remember being walked through Rochester High School. And seeing like the trophies go by because Mom was carrying me, and I was like obviously screaming and crying or whatever because I was in such pain. And then I remember coming home and in like the old house going up to like that mirror that like when you first open the door out into like the front. there's like a mirror and like a little thing. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror and having a little white, like it looked like a beard, like a little white chin like this. And I remember being like, I look like an old man.
Nice.
And just being like, and then now I still have like a score, but it wasn't like so bad. But some people had some where
the other weird one is like, I remember like, I think a stupid game to play, but like my mom closing the window in the car and like me sticking my hand out for some reason and be like, I can get it out before she closes it. I think that's what I was doing. It's fucking stupid.
Oh my God. Mom brought it up the other day and she still feels bad.
She closed the thing on my finger and then we had to go to the hospital. And then I remember my whole nail was like ripped off. And then I remember them putting like a plastic like fake finger on top of it. And like, that's not right. And I'm like, why would they think that would be like basically like a plastic tube that looked like a finger on top of it. And it's like, it's still like very open and the wound was still like gross. And I just thought that was weird that they did that. And they ended up putting like a full thing of gauze around it, like a huge giant gauze, which makes way more sense. But I'm like, why were we goofing around with this fake
Maybe it's like a
thing?
joke that's supposed to make you feel better?
Yeah, maybe that was it.
They're like, we've got gags
as
for
a
them.
kid, I was just like confused. I'm like, why would that? Like, I need a Band-Aid or something.
Yes, exactly.
Something. And now my fingernails, like, it's forever been messed up. It like doesn't look right.
This woman said, I slammed a car trunk on my 4-year-old by accident.
The whole body of the person?
I don't know.
Wow.
She didn't specify. And I asked, that was exactly my question. What part of the 4-year-old?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Just the 4-year-old.
It's just my brother pushed me into our 6x6 foot triple pane window in the living room. I had no idea how neither of us were injured. They went through the window.
Wow.
But neither of them were injured. Thank God. This person said, a kid bent his arm at recess. Not broke, bent.
Ugh.
And I said, how?
That's
and she's like, the best I can give you is surprising calcium deficiency in the got milk era. Which I'm like, crazy.
That really had a chokehold on
Really
America.
big chokehold.
That got milk.
Oh, yeah.
That was...
You had to have milk.
You had to.
Or else. Everyone was wearing little mustaches.
It's kind of an interesting, like, I know it had I know there's like more connected to it, but like it's interesting to have a commercial for something that's like milk. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's the commercial.
Yeah, it's definitely like so obviously like subsidized by the government that they're like, let's make commercials. You don't really see
do a corn commercial
like that anymore. Yeah,
you gotta eat it. No, you don't. They
maybe
gave up
corn
on the milk
syrup.
thing.
I feel like there's kind of a thing that like corn
it's not
syrup's
like
fine.
but they're not like doing like corn syrup. You gotta have it.
No, you don't have to have it. No.
But I think it's very funny.
It was very odd.
Be very specific about one type of product.
This woman said that when I was 7, I cartwheeled down a hill at the landfill field trip. I guess they went. Which is,
are they from Oxford?
Are they from Oxford, Michigan? Because that's such an Oxford thing. They went to the landfill as a field trip and broke my arm at the bottom.
I mean, that sounds like kind of cool and interesting.
Yeah, that actually sounds badass. Yeah,
but like that is. Yeah, crazy.
It says my brother severed 2 of my daughter's fingers when she was 4 by accident. Wow. He was flipping back a second row captain chair in his Suburban in a car, I guess, right when she put her hand there. She is okay.
Oh my God.
And they reconnected her fingers.
I don't get how that
I don't know how that happens.
I don't get that.
I don't know how that happens.
Sometimes people are like, I severed this thing. And then I'm like, well, their bone's still attached. Well, yeah. I'm like, okay, well then is that severed? To me, I'm like, I don't know. This thing is fully removed.
Yes.
Fully removed. Not.
It was the tips of her right fingers on the knuckle. The part of her fingers looked a little short, but they work. I was like, good for her.
But I think there are scenarios where like you could get your finger, a digit cut off and then reattached.
Yeah. I mean, she did.
Does not make sense.
Doesn't make sense to me at all. We had a balance beam on the playground in 1st grade. Bad idea. I'm just going to say it.
They were always having balance beams. Do you remember like a teeter-totter?
Yes. That also seems like
teeter-totters.
Dangerous.
I remember it being pretty fun.
It is fun.
But like, it's so like janky.
It's
like
janky.
A piece of wood that you're just, it seems like a thing you would do like when you're not, like your parents aren't home. Like you're like, let's go teeter-totter that piece of wood over there. And it's like, that's dangerous.
Oh my God. This one, we had a metal balance beam on the playground, and in 1st grade, I watched my friend TJ gouge his leg to the bone, falling off of it.
That's crazy.
I was like, kids are how?
Yeah.
My brother broke a 3-shelf bookshelf on my head. The Looney Tunes style dropped it on my head. All my mom
Wow.
did was put a cold butter knife on it.
What?
Concussions didn't exist back then.
Oh, yeah.
I got on a bike when I was 4 or 5, got a concussion because I ran into a tree and can't seem to balance on a bike to this day.
Wow.
Wow. A lot of concussion things.
Yeah.
I was jumping on my bed and I put my leg straight through the window. Somehow didn't get cut.
That's also interesting.
That was like, I was like, good for you.
It's interesting to have like a crazy accident and then you were like completely fine.
Yeah. And then you just got away with it. You're like,
that's a fun fact. You could use
that
that
is
in
a
a
fun
corporate
fact.
event.
That is, see, then that's a corporate fun fact.
You could use that. Yeah.
The one I talked about was that this one kid, like these kids, this was like they had an accident, but like one kid's like mouth or whatever, and they were playing soccer and they went to headbutt the ball, both of them, and then they kind of collided.
Oh God. Yeah.
But that just seems like that, you know. But the one of them says like my mom opened the metal front screen door into my knee because I was in her way, cut a 3-inch gash in my knee, blood flooded the entire patio.
Oh
my dad wrapped it tight with a towel and carried me into bed. Side note, my mom yelled at me for making a mess. Should have gone to the hospital for stitches, but the mess. She poured iodine into it. I screamed. She told me to be quiet because she had a headache.
That sounds like a terrible parent.
Right?
It always like shocks me when parents are like kids tell a story like this or people tell a story like this, and I'm like, my parents would like our dad is like.
The only thing I will say that,
but I'm like, he's
one
not
time when I fell down
neglectful.
the stairs and I fell on my face and bashed my nose, mom did say, she came over. She didn't really mean it, but she was just like, "Oh my God, your nose! You wrecked your perfect nose." And I was just like, "Not the time, Mom."
I don't know what it is, but there's certain things that, like I wanted to do or try. She's like, I spent all that money on those teeth.
Yeah,
Which you know,
investment stuff.
I get it.
Someone said my younger brother had a chestnut in his nose, and when my mom asked how it happened, he said it was an accident.
What is that accident?
He looked up and the chestnut fell into his nose. No, it did not. There's no way.
I feel like you had several scenarios, like when you were like 3 or something. I remember you going to the hospital. You stuck like a jewel up your
from
nose.
Jasmine.
From Jasmine, she had like the Jasmine Barbie had like a jewel on top of her
she did.
head.
Not for long, she didn't.
And then Caitlin somehow removed that jewel, and somehow it ended up in your nose.
And it was like right at this part where it was like either going to go further or come out. And then Mom was on the phone with the doctor, and as she was like saying it, he was like, have her blow. And I was like blowing. And she's like, it's not working. Like, I don't want it to go further and then have to like surgery or, you know, whatever. We'll just come in. And then it just popped out. And she was
I
like,
swear you stuck something else up your nose as a kid.
I don't know.
Like a little kid.
Maybe.
Like, I don't think the jewel was the first scenario.
they were like, if she's going to play, you got to lock up that nose. You got to lock it down. And then a comedian friend of ours, like Kevin Kellum, he's got a joke where he glued his eyes shut.
He did it to himself?
Yes.
How old is he? Does he say?
He didn't say. He's like, oh, I got one. And I said, yes, I want to know. And he just says glued my eyes shut. And I remember hearing about this. I think
Do you know what kind of glue?
No, something's wrong.
What is
I think
wrong
he had to go
with
I don't
kids
know.
are so weird.
Kids are so weird.
Because I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But then also shoving a jewel up your nose makes no sense to me either.
Agreed. No, you're right. They don't.
It makes no sense at all.
Who am I to judge? One said, okay, as a small kid, I fell out of bed and broke my collarbone, like probably first year in a twin bed. And my dad took me to the doctor, and the doctor was like, you can get an x-ray, but it's probably fine, not needed. So we went home, and like 2 days later, my mom had to bring me back to the doctor. They were like, oh, it's definitely broken. I feel like that happened a lot too, where people were just like, we don't know if it's broken. And with kids, they kind of heal fast. So I understand why people are like, who knows?
Yeah, but don't they see a fracture on x-ray?
They didn't do an x-ray because they were like, oh, it's probably not. And then two of my parents were golfing, and my dad thought these old ladies picked up his ball by accident, and he was so mad. So he took a turn fast, and I got ejected from the golf cart and had to go to the ER for like jaw pain. I think the moral is my dad is irresponsible, which I was like, yeah, that tracks. That's crazy. Yeah. This one said in second grade, I had to move to a new school in the middle of the year. I walked in the classroom on the first day. The teacher introduced me, and a boy immediately stood up and announced, last week I fell out of a tree, hit a branch on the way down, and tore my nutsack open. Wild to be meeting my new classmates.
Yeah, that's really, I bet they probably wouldn't have remembered that if it hadn't been like a first day at a new school. And then sort of like this person's like, but what about my attention?
Yes, I think that's exactly
I would
what
also
happened.
like some attention here.
He said he was very proud of it, the kid. Which I think
Yeah.
is super funny. Like,
I think because it's like they have a story. I think that's what kids like about it. Like even
They
like
don't know
me
the
as a little
difference.
kid being like, oh, I got this scar. It's because now you can be like, something interesting happened to me. That's pretty crazy.
I have some corporate fun.
But
it's a corporate fun
something a
fact.
kid
A
can
kid
talk,
fun fact.
and it's it's something a kid can like talk about. Because if a kid's like, oh, like my dad hit me or something like that, no one's gonna be like talking about that and bragging about that crazy
Sure,
story. 'Cause
no,
they don't
that's-
even understand.
No, they won't. Yeah.
But if they break their arm or something, also kids breaking their arm or like leg, they were like, okay, remember how much kids like milked the broken leg thing? I gotta leave class early. It's like, it just started. It's gonna take me an hour to walk to the next class with the crutches. And then they're like, I need a friend to carry my book. And there's like 3 friends leaving the classroom with this chauffeuring this other kid around on their crutches.
I had surgery for my.
I always felt it was kind of cool. Like I was like,
It was very
I'm
cool.
like, God, if I ever broke my arm or leg,
Oh,
I'd be
no.
the king.
It's cool.
I'll be king for a week.
You'll be king for a week. Yeah.
And then some people would just spring
It
their
seems
spring
like they
their
had
arm
it
and they got a
forever.
sling. Like, not that cool. If I get to sign your cast, that's cool.
That's cool. You have to be
A
able to
cast
sign
is
something.
cool. Yeah.
Agreed. They couldn't sign when I had surgery for my wrist. You couldn't sign anything, but it was but
Not
like
cool.
I couldn't write with my wrist, so I had a Justin Zigbauer was like my secretary.
Is that how you guys started dating?
I don't know if it was. It might have
I
been.
know it's like a 5th grade whatever nonsense.
Yeah, 5th grade
I just like
corporate
the idea.
romance.
Corporate. Yeah,
Yep.
it was all corporate.
Oh,
But I
is
do like the idea of somebody being like, I can write for her. Like, yeah, people get excited about that. They're like, this kid's injured. I can help them.
Yes, kids really like that.
Yeah. It's
You
good.
know?
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing that kids want to help. You know.
Like, I think it could be a kid that nobody's like interested in or likes, but they've broken arm. Like, okay, this kid's kind of interesting.
Yes.
Suddenly,
Yep.
something about a cast gets
This
kids
one's
really
a kid
excited.
in grade school slammed his finger in the door, and I saw the finger on the ground while he was crying in agony.
That's scary.
I was like, oh my God. Like, what? Like, why? Yeah, absolutely crazy. I think you also remember the stuff because it's traumatic, so it kind of gets like locked in to your brain. I think that might be all of them. But yeah, kids are accident prone. They're wild.
Did you have an accident, Stanley? Yes.
But the thing is, like, having a cast is cool. Having a sling is not as cool.
No, sling's not cool.
Stitches are cool, but stitches are sometimes, not fun. When I got stitches for my wrist, I was really excited to show the boys that I got my
Really?
stitches out.
Oh,
Because when I got them out, I was like, the boys are gonna go crazy for this. And then I unwrapped it, and all the stitches had opened up.
Oh God.
And I was
there's,
like,
pus
and they're all like,
everywhere.
is that what it's supposed to look like? And I was like,
I need to call my mom.
I was like, listen, I got a phone call to make. And then I called them, and they're like, we know what to do. Which honestly, in retrospect, I was like, I feel like that could be medical negligence, but whatever. But it was a different time back then. Nobody was believing concussions were real. Kids were just flying off stuff,
Yeah.
and that's how it was.
Now I'm like, is it cool if somebody has a broken arm? I think it's mostly like,
I still think it looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think it does. I saw this girl that I used to like babysit. She had she goes to like ballet, and she had like her ballet thing on, whatever, and she had sunglasses, and then she had like a cast, and it was badass. She looked really cool. I was like, this might be the coolest baby I've ever seen. Well, Stan's telling us to wrap it up.
Yep.
Sounds like.
All right.
Okay.
Let's call it a wrap.
Let's call it a wrap. That's it. Thank you for listening to our nonsense. If you like it, follow Checker Podski on all platforms. And if you want to support my stand-up, follow me at Caitlin Check. If you want us to talk about something or need to air out your grievances or family secrets, feel free to comment or email us at checkerpodski@gmail.com. Shout out to our producers and to Alex Oliver for our Checker Podski jingle.